Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind, body, and soul. Our guest today is Melanie Bizoe. Melanie walked through stage 2B breast cancer in October of 2005. She is the co-host on the Pulse Morning Jumpstart on Pulse FM 103.1 in South Bend, Indiana, and the promotions director with Pulse FM Radio. This June, she celebrates her 30th anniversary with her husband, Steve. They have 2 married sons, a daughter, and 2 grandchildren. She loves spending time with her family the most, and her goal is to be her best self so that she can spread joy and encourage others. Hi, Melanie. Welcome to the show.
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good. Well, I was trying to think back as to like how long we've known each other. I'm thinking like 7-10 years.
I'm thinking it's been about 7. I first met you with the first Hello Gorgeous experience that I got to be a part of through the radio station that I worked for. And I think that was 7 years ago.
Okay. All right. So I was in that time frame. So
yeah, you were right on.
Well, I want to talk about that, but I want to talk about you first. So tell me, so you are a breast cancer survivor, and thank you so much for being on the show, because part of the show is inspiration. And I love being able to find survivors like you, because you show women maybe that are newly diagnosed or have been re-diagnosed that life goes on and that you can beat this and normalcy does return. And I think that so many times that's what women have a challenge with, is that it's never going to be the same again. But you've really proven life is different. It's a new normal, but normalcy does return. So tell me a little bit, like, how did you suspect that you had cancer?
Well, I did not suspect that I did. That was the thing. I was 38 and life was normal. It was great. We were just living life as best we could. I was a business owner at the time, and my business was on fire. My kids were 9, 11, and 13. My husband was a band director. We were doing swim meets and band concerts, and oh my goodness, we were just having so much fun. And, what we're supposed to do, ladies, is that annual exam, that doctor's appointment that we were supposed to do. So mine was coming up, and I told my husband, I said, I got to go to the doctor. I don't got time for that.
So, I know. We all feel that way. I get it.
Exactly. So he's like, it's only once a year you need to go. I'm like, all right, fine. So I went and had the normal exam, and my doctor said, I think you have a lump. I'm like, nah, you're joking. She said, no, I'm pretty confident. I think you have a lump. I said, okay, well, what do you think we should do about that? And she said the best words she could have ever said to me was, I think we should act like it's cancer and pray that it's not.
Oh my gosh, really?
Right? Best advice ever, which is actually very hard to do, but best advice ever. Wow. So because I was 38 years old, I had never had a mammogram. So off to the races we were. It was because of my annual checkup at the age of 38 and a doctor who was paying attention that we discovered that I had cancer.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And so then what? So you went for the mammogram, and then did they do a diagnostic or just a regular mammogram, and then they found out it was cancer?
Yeah, we did a regular mammogram, and okay, yep, there is a lump there. Don't know what it is. Let's, dive in farther. So we went and did an ultrasound, and I said to my ultrasound tech, I said, you know what? I have no idea what's going on. I'm 38. I'm totally healthy. Can you just give me any indication of what you see there? And she said, yeah, I can't tell you if you have cancer because that's not me, but I can tell you what I see. So she did. And she said, okay, so you have this lump that is like gray and it's got legs. And she showed me, can you see it? And I said, yeah. She said, I can tell you that they'll take it out, whether it's cancer or not, they're going to take it out because it has legs. So the next thing we need to do is get you a biopsy. Like, okay, here's one of my most important points that I learned throughout this whole process is you have to be your own best advocate.
Amen to that. Absolutely. Yes. Amen. Yes.
Yes. Because they wanted to wait it was like 2 weeks for me to get in to do a biopsy. And I accepted that on the initial call. And then I called my doctor back and said, hi, honey.
Yeah.
Here's something we got to do. You want to wait 2 weeks for me to have a biopsy, and this is my life. And if I have cancer, I need to deal with it right now.
That's right.
So I don't care where I go. I'll fly to California if I need to, but I'm confident someone will give me a biopsy within the next 24 to 48 hours.
That's right. Good for you.
Sure enough, I was in, and we did that biopsy, and he said, I will see you and your husband in my office in a week. And that was my second indicator to me personally that I had cancer. My husband still would not accept. He did not believe that I did. But when she said, it's gray and it has legs, and then it was, I will see you and your husband in my office, not like I'm going to give you a call and talk to you.
Yes.
It was, I'm going to see you both in my office in a week. Then my gut, you know.
So what was it like when the doctor told you that it was cancer?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, you know, my husband and I had been talking about this, obviously. We were the only two at that point that had any idea. I did not want to scare my kids because if it was not cancer, I didn't want them to have to deal with that.
That's right.
So we did not talk about it with anyone. It was Steve and I walking through this together. And he lost his mom when he was 9 years old. And he said, you know what? I know you're not going to have cancer because I'm not going to lose you too. I know that's not the case. I said, well, I'm trying to pray as if I do have cancer. And at the same time, like, I need to figure out how to accept this if I do. I'm praying like I don't have it, but I'm asking God to accept it if I do, you know?
Right.
And so we're there in the doctor's office, and the doctor comes in, he shakes my hand, and he says, I'm sorry, it's malignant. You have 4 options: chemotherapy, radiation, mastectomy, or lumpectomy. Which one would you prefer?
Oh.
I'm like, well, it's a smorgasbord, so I'm going to choose steak. I don't, you know. I mean,
wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. And here it is. You're blown away. Like, I don't even think the whole you have cancer would have set in yet before he even threw those options out. Exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I looked at my husband, and he was like gone because he heard it. He heard it's malignant, and he was like a ghost. So I said, all right, doc, here's the scoop. Since I don't know what any of those mean, and I don't really know someone enough who has walked this journey before, we're going to play a game. We're going to pretend that I am your wife, and I'm 38. I am completely healthy. There is nothing wrong with me. What would you do with me if I was your wife? And he said, I would give you a lumpectomy. And he walked through the reasons as to why. I think in his mind, he already knew I was probably going to have chemotherapy and radiation. Okay. But he walked me through the scenarios, and we chose 2 days later to have a lumpectomy.
Wow. But because you advocated for yourself and you got the biopsy done quick, then they were able to do the lumpectomy quick as well, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I said, if we're dealing with cancer, obviously now we know that. So I want this out as quick as we can get. So what's your schedule? You know, he's like,
that's right.
Get in Friday at 10. Like, then I'll take it. You know, we didn't know what kind I was dealing with or any of that, of course, until after the surgery. But he was working with me to, you know, he was trying to be an advocate for me too. He knew that I wanted to get things done. I needed to have a peace of mind about this. Just get it out of me. And now, and that's not everybody's procedure.
No.
You're gonna, you know, you got to go. Another thing I learned so well was you got to go with a doctor that you feel so comfortable with, because you're going to be with them for a long time, you know. That's right. And you want to be able to trust them. And he was only with me for that surgery. He removed the lump, and then I was referred to an oncologist, but I felt confident and comfortable in his explanation of what I needed to go through in order to be able to move on to the next step, which was in 2 days, let's take this thing out.
Well, and I love the way that you proposed that question back to him, though. If I were your wife in this situation, you know, I'm not 75, I'm 38 and I'm healthy. What would you do? That was a great way to present that question. A great way.
And I believe that was a God thing, because I mean, in my world, I never expected to hear the words that you have cancer, especially at the age of 38. And it's like, okay, God, give me some wisdom, because I don't know what I'm doing now. It's me and you, and I need your help in this. I don't know what to do, you know? So
how did you guys tell your kids then?
Oh, well, okay. So, actually asked my nurse. We went in and had the surgery done, and I ended up staying overnight in the hospital because I couldn't come out of the anesthesia fast enough, because my cancer was farther along than what they expected. So we had to remove lymph nodes and all this kind of stuff. So I was under the knife longer than what we expected. And I just couldn't come out of it. So the next day I asked my nurse, I said, okay, help me out. I've never done this. I have 3 kids at home, and they're 9, 11, and 13. How do you tell your kids you have cancer? And she, again, best advice, you pray about it. You pray about it and ask God to give you the wisdom in that. And I'm like, okay. So all the way home, that's what I did. So we gathered my kids in a very safe space, which for us was on our king size bed, because that's where there was always laughter there, you know?
Yes.
We got to goof around. And so we gathered them up, and I said, you know, Mom and Dad, I got something we need to talk to you about. Come on in here. We're all going to sit down. And they're trying to guess. Are we going to Florida? Are we getting a new house? Are we throwing out all these ideas? I said, well, no, it's a little bit different than that. I said, you know, when you guys are sick and Mommy and Daddy have to take you to the doctor. I mean, this was a God thing, because again, I prayed all the way home. I had no idea what I was going to say. I said, you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you some medicine because you're sick, and then you have to take it for a week or a couple of weeks until you feel better. I said, well, Mommy has some medication that she's going to have to take, and it might make me lose my hair. It might make me get sick. I might be sleeping a lot. But by the time summer rolls around, because this was October, by the time summer rolls around, Mommy hopefully is going to be back to normal. I said, have you seen people who don't have any hair? Yes. I said, well, some of them are taking medication because they're sick and they have cancer. And that's what Mommy has. Mommy has cancer. And so I have to take a lot of medication in order to get better.
Wow. And so how did they react to that then?
You just never know what's going to come out of the mouths of babes, you know?
Yeah.
And my 13-year-old, the first question he said was, are you going to die?
Mm-hmm. And of course, that's going to be their concern. That's because of the way that cancer is portrayed. Mm-hmm. And, you know, back then, 14 years ago, it's different now than what it was back then. You know, the cure rate and the longevity is much better now. But I imagine back then, you know, what they hear is all gloom and doom. So you're right. Mm-hmm. So how did you answer that question?
That was a God moment again, because I mean, I can so vividly remember. I mean, we're all sitting on the bed, and I'm just like, God, give me an answer right now.
Yeah, yes.
You know, because I wasn't. I mean, I should have expected that, but this was all so new and fresh in my brain. It was not even 4 days old yet that we knew that I had cancer, and so I said, your dad could go out and go to school tomorrow and get hit by a beer truck. Which would be Daddy's ultimate way to go.
That's right.
And it would have nothing to do with cancer.
That's right.
So what we're going to do, there is only one person that knows how long each one of us is supposed to be here on this earth. And we're going to pray that it's not my time to leave yet. And we're going to pray that the story that we're living out right now for these next months, because again, it's going to be until summertime, until Mommy's better. We're going to pray that this story we're living out, we're going to be able to help other people who are walking through the same thing.
What a great way to present that to your children. What a great way. Wow. Wow. And did they accept that answer?
Yeah, it seemed like they accepted that answer. We talked a little bit more, but it was never like this in that moment. It was never this fear that came. It seemed like there was this peace then that was there, at least for me. Now I'd have to ask my kids and my husband if they felt differently, but for me, I felt like it was okay. And then we all got off the bed, and Matthew, the one that asked that question, wanted to go for a ride. And so my husband took him, and the other kids stayed with me, and we just did normal stuff. And Matthew and Steve went to Barnes and Noble, and they went and bought a whole bunch of books that had to do with breast cancer and how to walk through that journey. And came back and gave him to me, and that
Wow.
seemed to help Matthew.
Wow.
And, you know,
wow.
so
Wow.
I think it was okay.
Now, going through this journey, did you ever ask God why this was something that you had to endure?
You know, I don't know if it was why me in that sense. I felt like more it was why me? Like why am I going through this right now? What is the bigger purpose in this? What am I supposed to be doing with this event that's happening in my life? Because I don't ever remember being angry at God. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was times that I was angry and I was frustrated. My oncologist was so fantastic. When I got connected with him, oh my goodness, I met him for the first time and he said, here's my best piece of advice for you, Melanie. You are going to be angry and frustrated and sad and happy and joyful and living life and screaming all in 60 seconds. And in the next 60 seconds, you can feel all of those emotions again. And that's okay. That's normal, because this is not a normal thing you expect to go through. So any emotion that you feel, that's okay to feel that way. And that was so good for me, because I do remember times of being angry and frustrated, but I don't remember it being at God. It was, what am I supposed to do with this now that I'm walking through with it? Going back to telling the kids, sharing with them, we're going to use our story to try and help other people. Okay, tell me why, God. What am I supposed to be doing with this?
And I have done that too. It's interesting because when you change your question, if you ask the same question, you get the same answer. And asking, God, why, you don't get an answer. It just creates frustration, I think. But I have learned to do that too, where I start to ask that question. Okay, God, what am I supposed to learn from this? Just show me what I'm supposed to learn from, and how am I supposed to use what I'm learning?
Exactly.
It really makes a big difference. And when you change the question, like I said, you get a different answer.
Completely. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that your doctor gave you permission to feel all of those emotions, because what happens is, what I think, and with the makeovers that we've done and the women that we've been exposed to, it's fear. You don't know what's going to happen. You go through these emotions. What if I don't make it through, what is my husband going to do? If I don't make it through, how are my kids ever going to react? I'm the one that's supposed to be taking care of them. How are they going to take care of me? I don't want to be a burden on anybody, and so I think that your doctor's right, that in those 60 seconds that you will feel all of those emotions, and this is why. But how wonderful that he gave you the permission to feel those emotions.
Absolutely. And I try and share that with other people that I meet. My sister walked through cancer 2 years ago. My aunt walked through cancer. My cousin walked through it five years after me. And that was my advice to them, is it's okay to feel this way. I think that's the normal side of us. That's the human side of us.
That's right.
Have these kinds of emotions, and whether you express them outwardly or inwardly, know that it's okay to get angry because we don't understand.
That's right.
We don't know God's plan in the whole thing. And so it's okay to be frustrated. Whatever emotion you feel, know that it's okay to walk that road.
That's right. That's right. And because wherever you're at is where it's good for you. But I think part of it is, as you're walking through that road, it's important not to stay there. Yes. Right. And I think that that's where it was for you. Like, again, that's where I look at. We found that doing Hello Gorgeous Makeovers, we find two types of women. And there's, one woman that has walked through cancer, and it now helps define her. She's a wife, a mother, and a cancer survivor. And there are some women that they've walked through this journey, and they're a wife and a mother. They've been through cancer, but they don't ever want to talk about it again.
Absolutely.
And there isn't anything wrong with either one of those scenarios. It's just whatever's good for you, as long as you keep moving. Either keep moving forward and leave the cancer where it stopped, or keep moving forward and carry that cancer with you to benefit somebody else. But I think that that's the whole point of it, is just being able just to keep moving.
And you're right. Either one of those is absolutely okay, because I talk about my journey way more than my sister ever talks about hers. Way more.
I think, and again, that's what we found it too. When with our program, we do it where you're eligible from our program for the day of diagnosis to 6 months post-treatment. And, people will say, well, why not any past 6 months? And that's it. Sometimes normalcy, it returns. And people, if it's something that they've been through and they don't necessarily want to go back, then the last thing you want to do is bring up things that they don't want to feel anymore. And so it really is, you just really have to, it's okay wherever you're at, as long as it's okay for you and as long as you keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Right. Most definitely.
So tell me, did you ever have like a come to Jesus moment?
Oh, yeah, actually I did. Oh my goodness. I lived my life in those months and still now, doing my best to always look forward, like never staying in that moment. There was a song during my time going through cancer. It was by Rodney Atkins and it was called If You're Going Through Hell. And it said, if you're going through hell, keep on going. Don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out before the devil even knows you're there.
That's right.
Yeah, and that was my goal. I wanted to get out of this before the devil even had a chance to get a hold of me. Like, you're not winning this fight because my God's bigger and my God's stronger, and Satan, you're not going to win this. That was my go-to phrase. You are not going to win this fight. But transparency, boy, there were times when I thought, woo, you are getting in.
That's right.
I was here at my house by myself, and he had a hold of me and he was telling me, just feeding me lines of, you're never going to go to another swim meet. You're never going to see your kids go to a prom. You're never going to watch them graduate. You're never going to be able to walk your kids down the aisle. It was just coming full force in my brain, in my brain. I was bawling, those snotty cries,
yes.
The
ugly cry.
The ugly cries, you can't get them to stop.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments, and I was curled up in a ball on the floor of my little tiny half bath, and I was just bawling my eyes out. And finally I said, God, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore by myself. Like, you've got to take it, like, now. I can't walk the road anymore. I'm at the end of my rope. I just need you to take it. And wow. Kim, I kid you not, faster than I can snap my fingers, it was gone.
Wow.
I tried to cry more tears because I seriously sat on the floor. I remember looking up and going, really? That's all I had to do was ask you, and you would take it that fast?
I'd have done that a long time ago. I knew it was that easy.
Before, I know there's more tears. I know there is. I know I can cry some more. And finally, after sitting there for 5 minutes, I'm like, well, all right, I guess I'll go and do the laundry because I can't cry anymore. It was gone. He was there. He met me when I needed him. And there's so many other moments, but that one's so specific where he just knew and he was there and it was gone. And I just got up and kept on going. Wow. I didn't stay there. You know what I'm saying? We've talked about that. You can't stay in that spot.
No, you can't. That's right. He
helped me walk right through that one.
So tell me, what would be one thing that you would tell somebody that was newly diagnosed? We've got just like in 60 seconds. What's something that you would tell somebody that was newly diagnosed?
Absolutely be your own best advocate. You are so, so worthy of any kind of help that you need to have. You do not have to take the first opinion. I had 3 of them because I needed to be confident in the decision that my husband and I were making for our family. Be your own best advocate. And by all means, if you feel you need extra love and extra support, you seek that out. You hunt for it from people that you love and people that you trust. I learned real quickly who I couldn't talk to because they had stories that were affecting my psyche,
Yes.
So, I had to protect myself, and I found those people that I could rely on and lean into and that just loved me and met me where I was at. And they're out there for everybody. That's
perfect advice. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And we didn't even get to this was such great information, but I would love to invite you back so we can talk about how we've collaborated together with Hello Gorgeous. Would you come back and do another show?
Great. Oh, yes, because I love Hello Gorgeous.
Well, and we love you. So, all right, if you have any questions or comments or would like to know more about the guests on our show today, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at K Becker at hellogorgeous.org, or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram or download our mobile app. Thank you so much for joining us today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker. And until next time, stay gorgeous.
Another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that.